different. It's a very different style of racetrack. Good start and a flying start. He's in no man's land there.
That corner's a pain in the ass.
Make him feel vulnerable and capitalise on a mistake.
Renee Gracie is a race winner.
There's some champagne at your feet. Let the celebrations begin.
Well, hello and welcome to the Shannons SpeedSeries. We are here for the Liqui Moly GT Festival of Darwin. We've just opened the gates and we've let the people through because we've got a grid walk happening right now for the GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. Chris Stubbs with you. Greg Rusty's alongside me. This is an historic day, Rusty. This is a great place to have some great machinery.
Congratulations to everyone at SRO, because each year they try and do something for their constituents, for their competitors, where they go to new ground. Last year it was wrapping up in New Zealand at Hampton Downs. Great to be here at the top end. All of our family are really enjoying it, and they have brought some of their family with them to enjoy that along the way. So very cool moment here. The front, the complexion of the grid, if you were with us here on Fox and KO this morning for our qualifying coverage, Brad Schumacher just over our shoulder here did the job in qualifying, but they have reviewed that and a 3 grid place penalty for that car for impeding. That means we have a new car off pole position for this one.
That's it, and we're going to join Charlie Barlow and Cam Vandendungen for all the insights from all the drivers, so we'll follow up that story. But it's hot here, Rusty. For those that are just joining us on our coverage, whether you're on KO, Fox Sports, or on the YouTube channels of the GT World Challenge around the world, 32 degrees, and we've got some very different machinery here with some of the biggest names in Australian motorsport.
We are lucky that they have, many of them, cooling systems in the cars. As you rightly point out, the Bureau saying headed for highs of 32 degrees here today, and we hit that at around about 1 o'clock in Darwin this afternoon. So big work for the crews, lot to play out here in pit lane here in this one, and I am really looking forward to it, Chris.
Absolutely. Well, let's get stuck into it with our pit reporters and find out what's been happening with the drivers. You hit the nail on the head. Brad Schumacher with that grid penalty means, Charlie Barlow, we have ourselves a new pole sitter for our first race this weekend.
We certainly do, Stubbsy. The wonderful Mark Rosser, he said I had to call him that. He's the beneficiary of that penalty to Brad Schumacher, as you said. Now, we were talking before, a pole's a pole, mate, but this isn't quite how you'd want to do it.
No, I mean, it is my first time up here. I would have liked to have got it purely on merit, but I'll take it where I can. So, yeah, I always get close to Brad every time, but he always seems that tiny little bit ahead, so, yeah.
It was exceptionally close in the times. You were right there.
Yeah, we were, and I probably had the most, similar lap times. I did so many lap times within 100 or 200ths of each other, and he probably jagged that one a little bit more as well, so probably a bit more consistent, so hopefully that'll come out in the race as well.
And of course, a massive talking point is the heat. We can see you've got the vest on at the moment, but you're not running a cool suit as such in the car.
No, we do have air conditioning, so it actually hasn't been as bad out here as we were expecting, so it's not too bad in the car, so we should be all right.
Okay, and Alex as well, he's happy with that setup?
Yep, no, he's ready to go. We're good.
All the best.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thought I'd just jump over to the other side of the front row, Charlie. Well done there, and I'll grab Sergio Perez and also Brendan Leach. Congratulations, front row. We were just talking about the heat and the conditions. It adds a different degree of difficulty when we come to Darwin.
Yeah, the heat's going to be one of the challenges. We don't have air conditioning in the Merc like a lot of our competitors do, so it'll probably be a bit harder for us, but that's what we work out for.
Well, Brendan, I'm also going to talk to you very quickly. I'll bounce between the two of you about heat for drivers, one thing, but also this track is quite hard on tyres as well, not just from a heat perspective, but it's narrower and some of the corners tighten up more than you expect when you're looking at it on TV.
Yeah, you're right. It's actually quite a low-speed circuit. The fastest corner on the track is third gear, so compared to tracks like Sydney Motorsport Park, we're in top gear, and obviously Phillip Island as well. So I'm hoping the following is going to be a little bit better. Of course, there's going to be a complexity to the tyre life with all this temperature and the thermal degradation, so I'm hoping we can use that to our advantage today. Serge did an amazing job to put it up the front and really carrying us today, so I'm excited for the race. And we have 15 seconds penalty, so we'll just do the best we can with what we've got today.
Well, last comment from you, Sergio Perez. Is the first time we've come to Darwin, Hidden Valley with these GT cars. How do you prepare? What is your strategy other than just get through turn 1 okay? What more have you done to prepare yourself for this race?
Well, obviously, I spent a bit of time on the sim with Brendan, getting some tips on what to do. But yeah, like Brendan said, we've got a 15-second success penalty, so our job is just to not make mistakes and see what the rest of the competitors do and try and minimise the damage.
Well, the word success means it's obviously going okay for you too. Good luck in the race.
Thank you.
Well, it's a little bit of a similar story here, 10-second success penalty, but let's talk about the positives. Number one, you're here and you've got your beautiful family alongside you. They've come across the ditch to Darwin.
Yeah, no, first time here in Darwin, absolutely fantastic place. Brought the family over here and they're having a great time.
And Steve Brooks just happens to be a very good holder of an umbrella as well, so I appreciate that because it is warm for a Kiwi or for me. This is your best qualifying position, isn't it, for the season?
Yeah, best qualifying position. You know, see, first time here, so really excited. Obviously, we've got Brad next to us. He's going to be pushing hard with the penalty that he got, so it's going to be a really interesting first corner anyway.
And Ryan Wood, you've got one of the best, not just in Australia, but in Australasia, of course, your Kiwi mate with you. I mean, this combination is just getting better and better, right?
Mate, yeah, like, we're going really, really well. Hopefully, we have a great result today, and then tomorrow we hopefully definitely get another podium, and then put us up the pointy end in the series.
All the best, mate. You've got some young flesh there that you need to cover with the umbrella. Don't worry about an old guy like me. Enjoy it, hey? Take care.
Lovely. Thanks very much. Cheers, mate. Thanks, guys.
As you heard in our introduction a little bit earlier, history was made last time out for Renee Gracie and for GT racing generally, but it is a team effort. Will Davison, that Ferrari together have been an incredible combination, and they are now starting to deliver the kind of results that not only fans can be proud of, as Chris discovered when he caught up with them earlier in the weekend.
Great to see you both. Renee, we'll start with you. How have you reflected on that first win, a historic moment in your career and our sport?
Yes, it was very exciting, a bit of a relief. I tell everyone that and they're like, how exciting was it? It was really exciting, but I felt relieved. Obviously we haven't had a great start to the year, so it was good just to actually show to ourselves and to myself specifically that we could do it. I've always had faith from the start when I've got involved with Will in the program. I've always said to him, like, we can do this, we're a good pairing, we're really strong. I have the utmost faith in us, so it was good to finally deliver and prove to Will, hopefully, that we can do it if he didn't already believe it, and to myself as well.
And the first race win for a Ferrari this year too.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a bad little tip of the hat too.
Yeah, no, I don't let anyone else forget that.
Good. Hey Will, what surprised you the most about working with Renee this year? Because there's a lot of hard work going on here, isn't there?
Yeah, I think from the initial dealings with Renee, she clearly worked very hard to put the program together. She meant business, right? So it was just very professional dealings. She knew what she wanted and she was just going for it, and it was quite motivating because she wasn't just here for the show. Like, whether it's putting the program together, the sponsorship together, the presentation together, to then obviously her wanting to be seriously competitive, has just been very refreshing to hear her hunger and her desire to be better, and not to tiptoe around her. Like, she wants to seriously get better and better every race, to the point where you're actually trying to keep her in check a little bit and take the pressure off herself a bit, because she's pretty hard on herself, and I knew it was coming. I knew a result was coming, so it was cool that we actually got it done. But it's been a lot of fun. It's been really enjoyable.
And Renee, Will's one of the most affable people in pit lane, but clearly speaks for himself in terms of his level. What have you taken from him that stands out the most, do you think?
I think Will fills the gap of everything that I needed to fill, taking the jump from being an AM by myself to being in the Pro-Am. I said very early on when I was doing it by myself, if I was to share a car with somebody and have less track time and do less learning, I needed someone who was going to elevate my off-track learning and just open up a whole can of worms in regards to what there is actually to learn. Doing it by yourself, not having someone with you, talking in the car with you, you think you're learning by getting laps, but there's a lot that you're not picking up on, and you sort of have to rely on the engineers and your other teammates and through conversation, but no one's actually physically doing it with you. And I knew that it was going to be really important to have somebody who could help me fill that gap while I wasn't having that extra track time. And I think Will has opened my eyes up. He's so attentive to things, his notes, he's detailed, nothing gets past him. It's really made me go, wow, okay, this is where these pro guys operate at, and these guys are pros for a reason, and Will is, Will, because of how good he is at picking things up, just paying attention to everything. Nothing slips through the cracks, everything's questions, everything's fought for, and I think that's what's put us in a good position. plus my determination and want and will to obviously to do well, and I think it's just been the perfect mesh to get the result that we got and hopefully to get more.
Well, the driver that potentially feels they should have been on the front row of the grid, starting row 2, Brad Schumacher. You're still in contention here. This is a long race, hot day. I guess you've had a number of different strategies ready to unfold as this race plays out.
I mean, obviously the best strategy was going to be from starting in pole position where we finished in qualifying. But yeah, look, unfortunately relegated back to 4th. Got done for impeding. Car 26 put in a protest, and look, I tend not to agree with it. But anyway, that's the way the cock flopped. So here we are, P4. We've got a fast car. We proved that in qualifying. I think we've got a pretty good race package as well, and the V10 Audi is going to blend well with the heat up here. I think the turbo cars will struggle a little bit as the race gets on.
It's all about the heat, isn't it? We're talking about tyres and heat. It's tyres are always in the conversation, but heat's the variable. So other than the turbo effect, and that's obviously temperature related and compression related and other bits and pieces, what do you think are some of the other strengths that give you confidence today will be a successful day?
Well, yeah.
The first time I've heard BOP since I've arrived, and it's firing in the back.
Directly to jail. No BOP talk here on the grid, okay? So these Mercedes guys are always complaining about BOP. They've won 3 races this year. Anyway. No.
It's shots fired, I think, guys. Shots fired.
No, I think it's pretty evenly matched this weekend, to be honest. And look, the Audi's it's a very darty little circuit here, quite tight. And so the Audi's obviously a very small, darty type of car. The V10, again, naturally aspirated. It still works well, regardless of whether it's hot or not. We struggled a little bit with our setup during practice, but it really came together and come alive this morning in qualifying. We've settled it down a little bit, so it's not so edgy for the race. And yeah, look, a long race. We got no success penalty. I think we're in for a good result.
Brad Schumacher, you are a reporter's dream. Thank you very much. So much information. Good luck for the race.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
P5 is where Elliot Shute will start from this afternoon. Now, we're finding him trying to stay cool, of course, because heat is such a big talking point. Elliot, what has been your tactics for staying cool? As I steal the umbrella from Jackson Evans as well.
Yeah, look, I'm not good in the heat. I tend to be a sweaty guy on the best day. So the guys have got all sorts of strategies to keep me cool. I've been in the ice bath, and I've got a bit of an ice pack here and a bit of a cool towel and a brolly.
Yeah, you imploring every single strategy you have. Now take us inside the Ferrari. This is the first time you'll be racing here at the Hidden Valley, but across the practice sessions and quali today, how are you feeling?
Yeah, it's first time for me here. Yesterday, I feel like I got handle of the track relatively quickly. We did a lot of laps and I was relatively cooked towards the end of the day, but with a bit of a rest, yeah, I feel like I was good again in quali. It's quite a fun track, but it's going to be very difficult to overtake.
And of course, heat management inside the car. Other people have got running cool suits, might have a bit of aircon. What's the strategy here?
Yeah, I've got some aircon plugged into my head, so I think that should do the job. And I might try and turn it off if we need to go a bit faster.
Turn it off if you need to go faster.
Yeah, that's it. That's a strategy.
Go well.
Thanks very much.
Okay, we have to be pretty quick here. Darren Curry is alongside me. He's about to jump in and go for a steer in the lean green mean machine. What are you thinking at this point? It's warm out here. This thing's been pretty good this weekend.
Mate, this thing's a jet this weekend. Full credit to the boys at MPC. It's really good. We're finding a bit more in driver as well, so looking forward to hopefully moving forward a little bit.
When you say the driver, what have you found in yourself then this weekend?
Just totally different to anything I've driven before, so just getting my head around it and unlocking how to get speed out of it. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
Darren Curry, I know you've had the call to get in the car. We'll let you go and good luck.
Thank you, mate. Cheers.
Let's go and learn some more about Hidden Valley Raceway and get into a track walk.
It is fantastic that we launch into the second half of the season, somewhere new, somewhere fresh for GT racing in Australia. But the experience a few of the competitors in the field have here at Hidden Valley might actually help them across the weekend, certainly in the early part of it anyway. Lockie Dalton was here racing just over a month ago. We are here at Turn 1, end of the long 1.1k straight. Are there options here? Have you got to stick to a preferred line? What happens?
Yeah, you get a big lunch break. And then, yeah, I'm not sure what speeds we'll be seeing. We'll be seeing some big speeds, well over 250 Ks, I'd imagine, and then hard into the brakes. So usually it's a dead giveaway with the little black rubber lines on the white line. So preferably a double apex. So you'll see cars coming in. You'll see so many testing the limits in practice, spraying it off in that grass, trying to find the limit. That's the best thing. There's a lot of runoff, so you can find the limit without so much of a consequence. And then typically it's a big arch, getting the car rotated so you can get the power down straight and get out of here.
There is a little bit of movement too, tiny bit of undulation, not quite as flat as you first think when you look at it. So firstly, on the approach to 5 here, do you have to settle the car? How do you do that? And what about the risk of overshoots? Because that seems to happen at 5 often, doesn't it?
Yeah, the tricky thing is there's a few little bumps in the braking zone and it's quite high speed there. Then you're jumping on the brakes nice and hard, and when you turn in, initially feel like you've underdone it because there's a fair bit of camber and slope what goes into the apex. So you come in here and you're like, oh, I've got way more. And then you keep coming in and for a tight corner, it's quite fast.
Sucks you in.
Yeah. So it's like holds you in. And then on the exit, you've got this green concrete, smooth concrete. And once that rubbers up, that's really grippy. So then you're searching for the very limit and then you go too far and then you wash it off. So yeah, it is a cool little venue because you do carry a lot of speed in, and yeah, you're pushing the car. You want to be nearly dropping a wheel on the exit to make the most of this track.
The valley section is just behind us up there, and that is something of an action zone at times. We're in the midst of the track walk with all of the crews. What sort of things would you note with your engineer at a time like this for here?
Yeah, this is where you start to try and piece everything together. So you've got 2 corners here, but you're just trying to make it all one thing, nice and smooth, keep your rolling speed, your momentum. You're quite fast through here, so you would be around that 170, 200 Ks, depending on which car. So sometimes this sawtooth curb can unsettle the car and it gets you a little bit loose. So you want to be out to the white line and getting back. But yeah, because you're trying to carry as much momentum, you'll see cars drop on that sawtooth curb and they'll have a little wobble and a snap. It's quite frustrating because yeah, then you just bleed time up to the double left.
And I reckon that word momentum is key for the final part of the lap. It actually descends a little bit more than you realise here, not massively, but enough. And it does emphasise what you were saying before in relation to flow. How important is that here?
Yeah, you can see how much it zigzags to the left to the right coming down here. So you're almost sitting back at the top of the hill there and just trying to look at the furthest corner and trying to be as straight as you can to get to that point, just to carry that speed and momentum to get to this point as straight as you can for braking and speed, and then set yourself up for this big drag race all the way down to turn 1. So a nice lunch break, but if you stuff up this one, there's guys 5 car lengths back who are going to be on you by the end of this straight.
So there you go. It is the focal point of a ripper little motorsport complex here. A speedway over beyond the valley, the drag strip in the centre, World Motocross here in a couple of months' time. Thank you, mate. I'll hold it wide open this weekend.
I'll try to, mate.
A great look at a great racetrack, and it's almost time to go racing. We have got cool cars in the heat of Darwin. Audis, Ferraris, Mercedes, Porsches. We've got the lot. And on the front row, we have our championship leaders in Leach and Perez. Alongside them, Mark Rosser, who's inherited that pole position, but a fired up Brad Schumacher now after losing that pole position right in behind him on the second row. The scene is set. We're ready to go racing. The GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. Let's get into it with your commentators, Greg Rust and Lee Holdsworth.
Well done, Chris Stubbs. You can hear in his voice just how excited Stubbsy is for this, as indeed we all are. And at the back of the field there, that Porsche in the hands of Nathan Halstead, which he shares with Luke Youlden, has been pretty racy in the trophy class as well. And we'll watch that battle between Halstead and Matt Stupas, who's in the KFC Audi, just 1 row in front of them over to the left of your screen there. So trophy class is something that we'll focus on. Brought to my attention here before too, let's not forget that Rosser and Perez have had their moments from a rivalry standpoint too. Are we about to see that reignited? Why don't we set the scene for you? We've talked about the penalty for Brad Schumacher, but let's have a look at how qualifying played out, because it was that Schuren Partners Kelso Electrical Audi that ultimately took pole position. They rolled out of the lane in about 25-degree temperatures this morning for back-to-back qualifying sessions. This particular one was setting the grid for what we would see unfold, because the way the racing works here in GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS, Quali 1 sets the grid for race 2, Quali 2 for race 1 here today. So this car ultimately for BRM, who haven't necessarily had great performances in qualifying this year, that gave them a huge boost. Really good job by Mark Rosser. The Wolfbrook car, I thought, Lee, in both sessions, either in the hands of Ryan Wood or even Steve Brooks here, who seems to keep getting better with every outing, look really strong.
They did, yeah. Woody managed to eclipse Brock Feeney by only 8/10,000ths of a second. So it was an exciting qualifying. But yeah, I think Brad. I spoke to Brad earlier. He had obviously got the grid penalty from impeding the shoot car. He tried to get out of the way down in turn 5, but unfortunately slowed shoot up in the process. So gets the penalty, back to 3rd. But this is going to be a really exciting race.
So we're just about ready for the cars to head off. They light them up and start rolling away. And they'll bunch up behind our BMW, our official BMW safety car. And we'll be getting the action. Race 7 of the championship for 2026 underway shortly. Let's take a closer look at Hidden Valley for you. It is 2.87 Ks in length, runs in the anti-clockwise direction. It came to prominence, I guess you could say, in the late 90s when supercars arrived here. It's been a great stop on the tour for all sorts of forms of motorsport. 14 corners in all. The 1.1k drag strip, more or less. There is a genuine drag strip off to the left of it there, but it is like that. Horsepower comes into play in those parts. But these cars, all these wonderful sports cars, these different marques that we have here, make their impact around Hidden Valley in different places, don't they?
They do, yeah. You'll see the Audi really sees its advantage through the high-speed flowing section. Got good downforce, but then down the straights, they can take an impact on straight-line speed because you're pushing more air with the downforce. That's when the Mercedes starts to come into play with some good straight-line grunt. The Ferrari works very well in the cooler temperatures with the turbo. So it makes for really entertaining racing because everyone's making their speed in different sections of the track.
So we're all bunched up here. We're approaching a section of the track too that in Friday testing or practice was something of an action zone. A few of them going off at turn 10. So well done to everybody at Tagani, because that car there, the Colosh entry in the hands of Shane Smolin, had to go through some repairs last night, and we didn't know if it would make the start here today. They've done a great job, had all the parts, worked through the evening, and it was a similar story for Melbourne Performance with the KFC entry, although the damage to the front of it was perhaps not as bad as we first thought. So great work by all. We're set to go racing here. Watch for the Cam Campbell, Josh Buchan entry too. They were pretty handy in qualifying earlier today in the other sessions. So BMW safety car rolls away. We're in the hands now of Mark Rosser and Perez, waiting to unleash. And the heat of Hidden Valley isn't just in the 32-degree temperature, it is in the fierce competition at GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. Sergio sticks the nose of the Mercedes in front as they run down to one. How brave is Mark Rosser? He's real brave, is the answer. Real brave around the outside. Goes Schumacher. Off goes Sergio Perez in the dirty stuff on the outside of one. There's a few of them. Schumacher's gone round. Brad's gone round. All of that work and makes contact with the wall. That could be really crucial in their championship. Paul Lucchini is up into second place. Ross has bolted here. Dramas for the Elliott Chute entry as well. What a start to things at Hidden Valley here.
Always the hardest, most difficult time is at the start of this race when the tyres are cold, you've got no grip, everyone's having a go down into turn 1. It's one of the best tracks for a race start. And you saw it there, entertaining. Few punched off into the weeds. They could have huge implications on the championship, as you said, Rusty.
Team BRM, it's very early. We have an hour of racing, less than now to come your way. The Mark Rosser entry leads the way. Steve Brooks is third. What about John Paul Drake in the wake of all that drama? Up into 5th place. Great job. Watch for that combination. He's with Garnett Patterson. They'll be great as this race unfolds. A little bit of debris in the centre part of the track there. Maybe some bodywork that's come off one of the cars. We'll settle it all down. Rosser leading by 2.8 seconds over Lucchini. Look at the damage to the Brooks car.
Now, it's certainly not going to help with any handling performance of the car.
That, I think, is we saw that bit of bodywork on the main straight there before. I wonder if that's where it's come from in part. Some still to
clinging on to that Audi, the Wolfbrook Audi there at the moment. The Elliott Chute Ferrari for Arise Racing is limping. Look at that right front, it's gone. Damage.
He's going to be in a difficult position here for the coming through traffic. He's on the outside of the track trying to keep out of everyone's way. Can't actually turn that car through the corner with the punch it right front.
Wade Motorsport replay of the start. Off we go. Rosser versus Perez. At this point, the Tigani Mercedes is in front. The nose is in front. You can see that. But look at Elliott Chute in the background. Brad Schumacher on the outside. They're all having a go. Rosser goes through. Brad Schumacher, unbelievably brave. Perez goes off. So too does Cam Campbell. Then watch what happens if there's contact between, I think was that Darren Curry and the entry of... So it gets out onto the curbing there, Brad, and around it goes.
Yeah, he's just dropped a wheel out, cold tyres, no grip, and once these cars get loose, they lose all their downforce, and away they go. Very, very quick to snap on you.
So Darren Curry's come in, I think, in the distance of that shot. I think it may have been the battle with Shane Smolin, who finds himself still in fourth. They can't get that car turned to get it through the zigzag into the pit lane. How frustrating for poor Elliott Chute. Got it going now and limping it back to Arise Racing. Will they get back in the game here? What a turn of fortunes for this team in 2026. That bodywork, that is...
It's not going to last long. That's not going to last long. And whether that affects the performance of the car is yet to be seen. But if it rips any more off, it could be huge for their performance and speed of this race. It's just hanging on, and they'll be looking to fix that in the stop, that's for sure, but that's a long way away.
I wonder how Motorsport Australia Race Control will view that. Smolin on the back of Paul Lucchini now. Brooks is off and is about a second up the road from this pairing now. So it's Audis 1 and 2, Mark Rosser, Steve Brooks. Awesome stuff for BRM. Here is the OnlyFans entry. Now we're hearing that Brooks may get a black flag, a mechanical black flag for that. There you go, it's through there now for that bodywork. We knew that Motorsport Australia Race Control would be looking on. Clearly they're hoping it would part company, fly off and leave, but it's worried the umpires, and mechanical black flag for the 88. He'll get it this time by.
And the reason for that, we don't want to see these loose parts or debris flying out over the side of the track and injuring anyone, or flying into any following cars. But that's unfortunate for Brooksy.
Brad Schumacher, meantime, has just just nailed down a 1 minute 6.97, has he? So the fastest first sector that we've seen. So Brad wound up, I would say, and is really trying to get back in the game here at the moment. Down in 10th, Renee Gracie, great piece of driving, and is up into 5th place with everything that's unfolded. We talked about it at the top of the coverage here. History made last time out. Pardon me, a bit unfolded in front of the OnlyFans Ferrari, and she's doesn't look like she's a little bit of damage to that front right, but is absolutely in the mix here, running right with Shane Smolin at the moment, and that's in the fight for 4th place.
So I think that move at the start of the race, Brooks is in pit lane now. I wouldn't count Brad Schumacher and Brock Feeney out of this race by any means. Up into P9 now, 17 seconds off the lead. But Renee running there in P5, P4, great effort now that Brooksy's gone into the pits, moving up into P4 and fighting really hard on the back of Smolin and Laschetti.
Remember, she was driving this morning with a car that was massively compromised from an aero perspective, wasn't it? Will Davison spoke to us between the qualifying sessions. They have a very short gap between the two 15-minute qualies, and unfortunately it had sustained a bit of damage to the under tray of that Ferrari, and he said it would be, and he didn't use the word evil, like paraphrasing there, but he said it wouldn't be nice to drive, and she did really well to kind of wrestle the car around in qualifying, and has made some good choices here at the moment by the looks of it. A little bit of bodywork on that at the front there on that bottom right-hand side of the splitter there, but pressing on, holds down form. Well done to John Paul Drake, sitting in 5th place at the moment. Great drive and handing over. He's right on the back of Renee Gracie there at the moment. That's setting that car up potentially when Garnett Patterson gets behind the wheel. That could be a really good afternoon for that combo. I think JP had a bit of trouble with some testing in the wet between Tailem Bend and this round of the championship. Garnett's been away, obviously, overseas and racing, and he likes to coach in a very hands-on sense, JP. So this is really good at the moment. Perez getting back into the game here now as well on the tail of that 666 Audi. Let's get some news from the lane in the meantime, though.
Rusty, thank you. There's a little bit to unpick. I think you've got a moment there. Come back to us. Come back to us.
I'll come back to you. Shane Smolin's car. Thanks, Chris. The Kolosh entry's gone off. He was running, I think, there in 4th place. Gracie is now up into 3rd. So he's recovered it. Chris, stand by. We might come back to you. It looks like he went off on the grass, has at least caught and recovered it. That your view on that as it came out of 7, and it may be a little of what Lockie Dalton was talking about in that track lab.
That's exactly right. You know, you can push really hard on the exit there. You catch a bit of that sawtooth curve on the exit of 7. If you run a little too wide, it is so difficult to come back on the track because the track keeps veering right. So you can see he managed to get it back, but it took a very long time.
Back into it. Now that Wade Motorsport replay's wrapped up, let's take you back to the lane. Sorry, Chris, take 2, take it away.
No, all good. There is a bit to unpack down here. Elliot Shute has given us his time and he's stayed around despite that false start there from us. Elliot, the day is done for this race. Just explain the damage and what's happened.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened at the start, but I was on the dusty side and, yeah, obviously got caught up with 4 wide into turn 1. But the contact broke our steering rack, so just couldn't turn left immediately and, yeah, tried to get it back, but that's it.
Mate, it's been a challenging year, hasn't it? I mean, after the highs and the successes of last year, I mean, you're still copping it on the chin, but tomorrow's a new day, right?
Yeah, tomorrow's a new day. It's hard, yeah, because, yeah, you know, last year was obviously a hard end, so this felt like the second chance. But, yeah, just got to take it one race at a time, I suppose.
Mate, all the best for tomorrow and bad luck today.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Charlie?
Another incident from the opening lap of turn 1. Brendan Leach, wasn't great to see Serge in that incident.
Yeah, real shame. I think just a lot of some hot-headed guys there just trying to make the most and capitalise at turn 1, and unfortunately we were the car on the outside. So yeah, just wrong place, wrong time. Nothing we could do. Have a little bit of damage, but the car is quick. So I'm hoping he can get past a couple of these guys. We have a 15-second success penalty, so I expected us to go quite far back anyway. And yeah, we'll just try and minimise the damage today and see where we end up.
And you were saying that damage cosmetic?
Yeah, nothing too crazy. I think something just fell off, but nothing of importance or safety. So yeah, probably a little bit loss of downforce in the front, but maybe it helps with the straight line speed.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Now, the point to make about those 2 interviews, and apologies, I started talking there in between the both of them, but what got my attention is we've got to think of the championship here. This is one of 3 remaining rounds, right? So that is hugely costly at this point of the championship for Elliot Shute and for Jackson Evans. Now, in the case of Brendan Leach, who we've just heard from there, and Sergio Perez, they come in as the points leaders. You've got to regather, as Serge is doing here at the moment, in 6th place. Even if the car is compromised in some way, I would just get it home, good points, hand it over to Brendan in as good a shape as you possibly can.
That's right. On a bad day like this, you just have to bank the points, because everyone will have a bad day through the year. So they'll do everything they can to nurse that car home, bring it home as strong as possible. They're in 6th at the moment. I'm sure Brendan will be pushing very hard towards the end of this race. But if it's got damage, it's going to affect the speed, make it very difficult to end up with a top 3 position.
Now, to recap the standings coming into this race for you, and let's see if he gets past here. Looks like he's going to get the job done on Shane Smolin and move up into 5th place. And they're under the same umbrella there, effectively, these cars at Tagani. So good, that's great for Serge and for Brendan, as Brad Schumacher his eyes at the moment, it gets a little skatey coming out of that final corner again. He is pushing hard, Brad Schumacher. Now remember, they're trying to defend the number one. They've had their moments in that car as well with the door hinge issue last time out at Queensland Raceway. He's another who is in a salvage mission here. The second half of the championship for that yellow and black Mercedes versus the silver and red Audi are two very different approaches. Brad is going for it because he's got to in some ways, whereas for those guys, Leach and Perez come in on top, 85 points, a 9-point lead over Jaden Ojeda and Paul Lucitti in Pro-Am. It's a different play for those guys, isn't it?
It is, and Brad will know that as long as he's close to Perez for the pit stop, that he's going to cover him, because they're going to get an extra 15 seconds on top of the compulsory 77-second pit stop. So he will, if he sticks within this margin, he'll come out in front. But here he goes for a pass on the inside. Very close, gets it done, but he's not taking any prisoners, is he? He's pushing hard. Not much to lose. He just wants to get back in this race. And he's very, very quick. He hasn't lost much time on the leaders, even though he's fighting traffic. So keep an eye on them.
Ninth year of racing for Brad Schumacher. Started out in karts at places like Lithgow, Bathurst, and that region is home for him. And he drives, as Lee Holdsworth said earlier today in qualifying, he drives like a pro. That example going down into turn one a moment ago may as well have been, this is how you do it at maximum braking point, basically, wasn't it? There was nothing left, I think.
That's exactly right.
He's moved past, which is tremendous, and is up into 6th position now. So race being led by Mark Rosser, nearly by 14.1 seconds it is now. Over that car, bottom right of your screen, Paul Lucitti, and then Renee Gracie, a brilliant third place at present in the Ferrari. Now, we have spoken about John Paul Drake. I cannot, highlight or make more noise about that. He's in the background there. You can see in that Audi with kind of the multitude of colours on it. The green is quite prominent. And he's been active as he is between his podcast and huge social profile, running around pit lane and the grid doing some bits of content. But he is actually doing a cracking job at the moment. 1 minute 7.076 last time by. He was actually quicker than Renee Gracie's best lap by, what was that, a 0.1. So he's doing a nice bit of work there at present.
He is. Gracie on the back of Lucitti, having a great race, and look, I'm looking forward to seeing Will get out there now and challenge for another podium for these two. They've had such a great run rate lately. Things are coming together for the OnlyFans Ferrari.
And that's the kind of, that's not Lee Holdsworth selling it to you. That's kind of a gentle reminder. If you're watching live on Fox Sports and KO, or if you're waking up somewhere in Europe and watching us on YouTube on our GT World Challenge Australia channels, that is because our pro drivers are still to jump in the car once we get the compulsory pit stops done. So the likes of Brock Feeney, Josh Bucket, who's been racing internationally, Jaden Ojeda and more will step behind the wheel. And that is to take nothing away from the likes of Renee Gracie, Paul Lucitti and others here. I mean, Mark Rosser in the way that he's delivering up in front. And that is because these AM-level drivers, what they are doing now with training, with time and so on is remarkable, and it is key to the end result, isn't it?
That's right. I think a lot of these drivers spend a bit of time on simulators, and it's funny how close they are on a simulator. These, driving an Audi on the sim. I do a bit of it before the Bathurst 12 hour just to get my head into gear. You brake at the same point on the sim, you're braking, you're turning in at the same point, carrying the same speed, shifting gears at the same point. It's amazing what you can do, and they're getting better and better every day with the technology and the software and everything like that. So these guys do spend a bit of time on sims. Brad Schumacher has just done the quickest lap of the race with a 1 minute 5.9. He is pushing super hard in 6th position and only 18 seconds off the lead. He has not lost a dime of time, certainly gaining now
on Serge and JP Drake, isn't he? He is right there. There you go. So that's to Lee's point. Shuren Partners, Kelso Electrical Audi right there. Best lap of the race we've seen so far, and could potentially get to fourth here in a very short space of time. I should say to Alana Holdsworth too, don't worry, we're not going to let him remodel the lounge room and put a simulator in there. You don't have to worry about that.
There's no threat of that.
No threat of that, exactly. 14.5 seconds is the lead. Here he comes, has a little look. Serge, who's been doing the kind of training that Lee has been talking about, working with Brendan, who loves doing stuff on the simulator and that kind of coaching and guidance and things like that. So as he gets to this point here, Serge is not going to make this easy, despite the fact that Brad is pretty wound up at present. Good fight back from Schumacher. It's been enjoyable to watch, but how much tougher does it get now? Up into Hidden Valley, out of turn 6.
This is going to get interesting because I would dare say that Perez wouldn't want to lose a spot to Schumacher. There's a championship in play. Perez is close enough to have a go at challenging Drake for position, but then he's got Brad Schumacher in his mirrors breathing down his throat. Brad gets a great run onto the straight, tucks in right underneath the rear wing, and will definitely, won't just be showing the nose this time, he will be having a red hot crack down here under brakes to get the move done. Swings out to the inside. Oh, super deep.
Great racing. You can see the way the Audi is dancing at that, as they often say, that limit of adhesion. Nothing left there. Now, have had a little message from Thomas Randall, who's, he has a look now at 5. Makes, gets it up on the curving, there's contact there. How will that be viewed by Motorsport Australia Race Control? Some telltale smoke from the Gaia Valmont entry. Is there damage on the bodywork? And it's rubbing on a tyre. No way. Can they get that to the pit stop window? And how much is it going to hurt Sergio Perez now? How will they look at that in race control? But the point I was going to make in relation to Thomas Randall, who's been racing in this class, I'll come to that in a second because here's a little replay for you. We're going to get Lee's thoughts on this. Wake Motorsport replay shows you.
So Brad shows the nose. Perez does give a little bit of room, so Brad then sees an opportunity just to roll off the brake and try and get the move done. But then there's contact, a couple of incidents of contact there, again on the exit. I think it was the exit contact that actually made the damage to the Mercedes, the Perez Mercedes. And I would say that it's probably done a little bit of damage to the steering, as well as put a bit of body panel, the body panels are rubbing now on the tyre, which is creating that smoke.
Now, I am no eagle-eyed. I probably wouldn't need my glasses on, to be honest with you. But at turn 5 there, it did look like Brad hit that sausage curbing quite hard, which unsettled the Audi too, did it not? Did that contribute to that?
That's exactly what happened. When you hit that curb, and Brad's going for another move here, looking for the run onto the straight. But yes, as you hit those curbs in these cars, they're so stiffly sprung. When you hit a curb, they launch you out off the curb. You're not able to maintain your line. You'll see it here as Brad turns in, hits the inside sausage curb. It's a really harsh one. He then loses the front grip and bounces into the Mercedes, has a little nudge, and then opens up the wheel and another bit of contact. So bit of an awkward moment there down into turn 5.
And he's having a look at JP Drake here, gets it done. There's no fight put up. JP doesn't need to worry about that today. And that moves Brad Schumacher up into 4th place now. Sitting in Melbourne and watching and probably hoping he was behind the wheel of the Castrol entry is our good buddy Thomas Randall. Up until that incident with Perez and Brad Schumacher there before, the points were looking crazy close if things were to finish the way they are now. So with Serge in P6, we think that means that Rosser will move to the championship lead, and it puts Ojeda in very close very close range too. We have got a super close championship on our hands here from Hidden Valley. And remember, this is the third. This is one of 3 rounds left in the championship. It's a compressed, it's a tight championship. Car 1 and car 44, that incident that we have showed you just on replay on 2 occasions now at Turn 5 has been noted by Motorsport Australia Race Control. They are looking at that.
How's Randall sitting at home, probably in front of his piano with the calculator in front of him, working out the points?
I love that. I'm surprised our mate hasn't critiqued me. He often does, which is great. Good fella. So, James Taylor, of course, is our race director, very experienced race director. We've got a great team in race control, none other than Craig Baird in a driving standards advisory role. So we'll let them do the, here you go, 5-second penalty. Car 1, driving infringement. 5-second penalty for Brad Schumacher. Off goes JP Drake. That's a rare blue at the final corner. Gets back on. This might help Sergio Perez here, but you can see 5-second penalty for a driving infringement. Well, it started from the opening corner, basically, didn't it? So, come to the top end, they said. It'll be good. Don't just go and see the Crocs and see exercise pitch black.
Well, they talk about hot heads. There'll be hot heads around here this weekend with the temperature, and that's just added to it. So Brad will know about that 5-second penalty. So although he's been pushing hard, he'll be pushing even harder. We've got the KFC Audi in pit lane. Driver change.
That's our trophy class leader coming in, Matt Stupas, and shares that car with Paul Stoker, super experienced driver from single-seaters to sports cars and more. Really good set of hands to take over that KFC Audi. And it'll be a good battle because Nathan Halstead is at the wheel of that newer generation Porsche. Nathan's got a couple of those cars and they've got the more recent, it has a couple of years in its life now. They've got the more recent version this weekend. He jumps out of the car. You know who's getting in? Luke Youlden, who won Bathurst with none other than Davey Reynolds. So that'll be a good fight, those two on the run to the flag for trophy class.
Youlden's really enjoying this car. He said it's a new car this weekend for him. They've got the upgraded model. There's still a couple of models behind, but he says it is a world in front of the previous model, and he's really enjoying driving it. We heard him say earlier that he wants to go for an outright pole position and an outright win. He's not far off. Exactly. He was only 3/10 off in qualifying, so that car's performing really well, and Luke's going to be pushing very hard towards the end of this race to bring it home, win that class.
Just to your point there, the smile he had on his face when I saw him this morning, in the trademark gear that you often expect for one Brock Feeney. He is suited, booted, ready to go. Charlie's in the background there in the Melbourne Performance Centre garage. Now, penalty obviously of 5 seconds for Brad Schumacher, but if you were to hand over the car and look for someone who might be able to try and nullify in some ways that disadvantage that you're now slugged with, that's a good guy to hand the car over to, isn't it?
It sure is, and he'll be serving that 5-second penalty in the pit lane, won't he?
Yep.
So it'll be an extension to their 77-second compulsory pit stop, which is actually great because at the end of the race, if you do have a safety car, you've already served your penalty, you have an opportunity to then make ground and not be penalised following the race.
Thank you to Charlie too, Charlie Barlow, who's in the lane there for us at the moment. She was checking with the team when we saw a brief shot of her there a moment ago about the penalty, and she says yes, the team have confirmed they will serve the penalty in the stop. So just to Lee's point there. So Rosser leading the way by 15.1 seconds from Paul Lucidi, and Renee Gracie in the battle with Brad Schumacher here at the moment with a caveat, that 5-second penalty for the Schumacher entry, the Shuren Partners Kelso Electrical Audi.
Brad's looking racy here.
Oh, what's happened in the background there out of the final corner? Someone's had a moment out of the final corner. I reckon Luke Youlden took evasive action. All sorts of dirt and dust kicking up. Now, I'm not sure if that was Shane Smolin or it was Josh Buchan. We'll try and find that out for you, but everyone seems like they pressed on, but it was like a smoke signal in the background, wasn't it? So it's Cam Campbell, I should say, not Josh Buchan at the wheel of the Ferrari. Cam's actually been doing a very good job in 7th place there at the moment. So he'll hand it over to Josh Buchan in the pit stop. Another good driver to look out for in the second half of this race.
So at any moment now, Brad will pit and hand over to Feeney.
Best lap of the race, just to your point there before, Brad, 1 minute 5.998. So back we go. What a story that is. Arise Racing, so much talent in that garage. A really cool race car, but hasn't 2026 had its brutal moments for this squad? They will come back strong, and you know what? The impact that it has on them from a championship perspective, they can tomorrow in our 1 hour Sunday race here at Hidden Valley, and in the events to come. We'd love you to be trackside with us at Sydney Motorsport Park for the next event of the championship, and then the grand final of the season for some of our other classes in the Shannons SpeedSeries. These guys are heading to Adelaide in this class, obviously, but man, they can at Arise Racing just pull the pin, go for it, can't they, in many ways? Awful to be in that situation in some respects, but that's how they can go about it.
In some ways, it's not a bad position to be in when you know that you've got nothing to lose, because you're pushed with absolute... You'll do everything you can, and you'll be leaving nothing, no rock unturned, and go for every position possible. There'll be no driving conservative, which is what we want to see.
In they come. So these are all of our front runners. You can see the BRM entry there, right of your screen, already in the lane. Mark Rosser set to hand over his car. Paul Luchini comes into the lane. So already Rosser's out of the car. The seat insert that he would use just with the crew. Alex Peroni about to jump in that entry. Here comes the OnlyFans car. Will Davison is standing by. If you want to know about how fit he is ahead of half an hour of racing, a little bit of trouble getting that seat insert out, was there? He's just finished, and so is his wife Brianna, the Gold Coast Marathon in recent times. Second marathon for Will. I'm not convinced he wants to do another one, but he said I had to get into it because the Gold Coast Marathon is so damn popular. Crews go to work. Limited amount of people are allowed to work on the cars in these moments. You can have 3 mechanics working on the car. They have red armbands that are designated from our category. Car controller will have a white armband, and a data technician can download some data from the car, but they don't require a special armband to do that, but they're not allowed to do any other work. So some of the Pirelli tyre technicians and so on can view and see how things are looking, but it's a small contingent. They can only have 2 rabble guns and so on working on the car at that time. So away we go. BRM entry returns ahead of Luke Youlden there on track. Trophy entry's already done its stop. Trying to cycle a bit of heat is none other than Jaden Ojeda. Will Davison behind him. This is going to be epic. Brock Feeney now finally comes out of the lane. Now, in the background, just having a little look where there's Josh Buchan now for Zagami, and Lee talked about it at the top. The job that team did in the first qualifying session was superb. Here comes Brendan Leach now, the Kiwi from Invercargill on the South Island of New Zealand, who has a really busy international program and has kind of not stood still between Queensland Raceway and now. He's got this really nice, neat personality, but when that helmet goes on, he is absolutely 11 tenths. So let's see what he can do, remembering that he came in with Serge as the championship leader into this race. What can Brendan Leach recover? He's got to get past the likes of a Garnett Patterson, a Josh Buchan and more.
It's a difficult task, but Leach is world-class driver. So are the others, mind you.
Brooksy comes into the lane, so that'll be to hand over to Ryan Wood. Steve got to position 6, but obviously impacted by that damage to the bodywork on that car earlier. Ryan Wood to take over there.
Worth noting also that Youlden's just done the fastest first sector of the race.
You were talking just moments ago about that. Unbelievable. Let's see what the rest of that lap looks like. So Luke Youlden in the trophy class, and that now he is pushing. Brock Feeney is pushing up into the valley section there. It wasn't
quite ideal, but I think that just sort of highlights to you how hard he's chasing. There's Luke Youlden on the back of the BRM entry.
What I was going to say, Rusty, was that worth noting that just before that pit stop, before Renee Gracie handed over to Will Davison, she'd done her fastest lap on the second last lap of her stint. So I think having Brad Schumacher breathing down the back of the Ferrari really pushed her along. That car's got some speed. Now Will Davison behind the wheel in third position. On screen through turn 5.
Bottom right of your screen is the pit stop being completed. Darren Curry, good job for Melbourne Performance Centre. He's a builder, does lots of roofing and so on. Never been to Hidden Valley here before and has thoroughly enjoyed things so far. He's handing over to Valentino Astudi, who is a part of our SRO GT Academy. Wonderful program, helping young racers, giving them ultimately a chance at a world-class drive in the 2027 CrowdStrike 24 Hours of Spa. Oscar Target's been a part of that battle, and they measured on all sorts of different things, from consistency, qualifying form, and more. Let's take you to the lane and get another update.
Thanks, Rusty. As the number 44 Mercedes AMG of Sergio Perez pulled in, I just wanted to note that there is a little bit of damage to the right side exhaust. So where you actually look at the exhaust that extrudes out of the side of the car, it was actually bashed up a bit. It was actually probably half the size that it should be. So I spoke to the team and said, look, is that something that will impact performance? They said, well, yes, but at this stage I don't think it's too bad, but it was visible. It was completely sort of like bashed in on itself. So that AMG will be nursing a few little bumps and bruises.
Okay, so will that impact performance, impact power? Brock Feeney has just chalked up the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 5.245, and has already gone through the first sector, the best that we have seen. Jaden Ojeda, who's in second place, has responded best of the middle sector. So let's, now that all the stops are done, just revisit where we stand. You can see it on the totem left of your screen. Alex Peroni leads the way by 5.9 seconds over Jaden Ojeda. Will Davison, an excellent third place after that first stint from Renee Gracie. They're holding down third and chasing after them. He's only 4 seconds behind the OnlyFans Ferrari is Brock Feeney. So, and then Josh Bucket rounds out your top 5 there. This is, stay with us whatever you do. This is going to be 20 minutes of fascinating racing to get to the finish of this here in Hidden Valley. Let's go to Chris.
Well, it was action-packed from the start, wasn't it? Brad Schumacher with a great start around the outside. It was brave, but ultimately came unstuck. Talk us just through that first corner or so.
Yeah, I knew that obviously it's so hard to pass here. It was going to be a opportunistic move, turn 1. Turned out all right under brakes and mid-corner, but yeah, just a little greedy at exit, unfortunately, and looped the car. But that was a hell of a lot of fun coming back through the field. I was a little bit cranky myself, if you couldn't tell. So I was there's a bit of fire under the helmet. Anyway, the car's good out there. I think Brock's going to be able to progress. It's in a good window. Unfortunate about the bit of contact there with Sergio. Never meant to do that, especially to my good mates like Serge. So 5 seconds, probably fair. Just went, he left the room and I just hit the inside ripple strip, and they're so big here, it just pushed me back off it into him. So yeah, not the way I like to race, but anyway, moved it up the field. Hopefully Brock can bring it back in a podium position.
Well, the red mist certainly was working because you were flying. I did see you just go down and have a chat to Serge. That was just to apologise and clear the air. Is that conversation?
That's always the way I like to race. Look, anybody knows me that watches me over the years. I'm not the kind of guy that makes contact with people, and so yeah, the first thing I'll always do in that position is go and see the guy that I've hit up and yeah, just apologise, because no one wants to end up with damage on the cars. These cars are so very expensive, and so it's always a costly day when we hit each other.
Well said, mate, and good luck. You've got the best man for the job for the rest of the race, so go well.
Thank you, guys. Cheers.
Respect. Great approach from Brad Schumacher, who's in that Melbourne Performance Centre garage. He was a good friend of the late Tim Miles too, and there was always a lot of laughter in that garage. We've just chalked up a year since Tim very sadly left us, and a few people gathered in Queenstown very recently for a memorial there, including his good buddy Andy McElroy, who runs a car in Monochrome GT4 Australia. Back we go to your race leader in Alex Peroni, who leads by 5.3 seconds over Jaden Ojeda. That gap, he's doing a really nice job at the moment to hold on to that gap. This is going to be potentially a championship-changing race. Race 7, it's meant to be lucky number 7 for some people. Feeney is going on with it. Another fastest first sector. He's 2.9 behind Will Davison now. Josh Buchan sitting in 5th place, and it's Garnett Patterson, Brendan Leach. Need to keep a little eye on that. Brendan 6.9 shy of Garnett Patterson. And the trophy class being led by Paul Stokel. Nice work in the KFC Audi. He's 8th outright at the moment. Back we go to Brock. Fastest in the middle sector. What's the end of that lap look like? He goes another fastest lap, 1 minute 5.035. And it's clearly, I think, the message to the OnlyFans Ferrari to Davison is to respond. And Will's done that. His lap was a 1 minute 5.504. It's, what are we talking there, Lee? Half a second difference, but Will is clearly aware that Feeney's on the charge.
If he keeps reeling him in at that rate, you should see him in about 6 laps time, 5 to 6 laps time. He'll be on the back of the OnlyFans Ferrari of Will Davison, which would be exciting to see. 2 very experienced drivers fighting it out for the podium position, the final podium position of 3rd place.
How's your maths? Is your maths any good? Well, you're working on business.
Should we ask Randall to work it out for us?
I have a friend who's actually working on it for us, thankfully. Points as they currently stand, provisionally, Rosser, 95. Ojeda, Paul Lucitti, 94. 1 point going into Sunday here. Brendan Leach and Sergio Perez, who were leading coming into this race, would drop to 3rd on the tally with 91. Feeney and Schumacher with 86. They are not out of it, those two. That's the key message here. And Evans and Shute, who incidentally, race control during one of the interviews there before, are looking at a turn 1 incident just to make things even tougher for the 26 of Elliott Shute and Jackson Evans. They are looking into what happened at turn 1 at the commencement of the race, so a bit to still play out there. But Jackson Evans, Elliott Shute would be the next in that order on 72 points. But it is at the top, at the pointy end. As it stands at the moment, provisionally, it is going to be tight in this series. Let's go back to pit lane.
Well, touching on that investigation there for Elliott Shute, turn 1, it was this man that was on the other side of it. Steve Brooks, give us your take. It was a good start from you, but just got caught up.
It was a good start, just got squeezed. You know, Rosser wasn't going fast enough. The other 2 on the outside, Brad and Sergio, they go through, get squeezed, have to come off the accelerator, and Elliott comes straight up into the rear, and so it was really unfortunate. And then I got the mechanical. Other than that, I was going pretty good. I thought, you know, there's sort of cars going everywhere. Brad spun off. I'm going, okay, let's get into a rhythm now. We've got through one. The steering's a bit bent, but yeah, obviously it's unfortunate. It's coming for that mechanical, and that put us down the back.
In terms of the championship too, you were there and thereabouts in, I think, 6th coming in this weekend. I mean, this hurts, doesn't it?
Mate, that hurts big time. You know, we were hoping to definitely get a podium. Obviously, we're going in with a success penalty of 10 seconds, but even so, I saw it going, here you go, I've got the gap past Paul, and then started, you know, getting away, and then to get that mechanical, you know, it's really gutting for our championship.
Mate, you've got the family here. Perhaps you should have just gone hunting crocs or something.
Anyway. I should have. I saw this big croc. It was 80 years old. I should have just hung out with him. Maybe Rosser was. He was like an 80-year-old crocodile waddling around at the front.
Thanks for your time and all the best.
Thank you. Cheers, guys. Thank you.
He has been a ripper addition to GT World Challenge Australia, and more may that continue. Little Birdie tells me that he's going to run his Porsche perhaps in some racing, maybe as a part of the Next Gen NZ Championship over summer, so he'll be match fit for 2027 if that's the plan. Great stuff. He did some promo stuff for this round of the championship, and it was like he was a full TV pro. He was brilliant at it. And they've opened the guys at Woolbrook. They're so busy. They've opened an office in Greg Murphy territory in Hawke's Bay, and I spent a bit of time there, Lee, as you know. So they're doing property management and the like in that part of the world. I thought he was going to offer me a job. We were talking about it the other day. Awesome. He is busy. He's one busy guy. I love that he's got the family here with him to take it in and enjoy. Let's go back to our race leader here. 268, Alex Peroni. After Mark Rosser handed the car over to him,
Nice work in the pit stop. We talked in qualifying this morning how the form for BRM, certainly in a qualifying sense, may not have been there as regularly as we anticipated or expected this year, but they're delivering in this race at the moment. And Alex has been able to keep that gap back to Jaden Ojeda in the Mercedes that you can see there to about 5.8, it's currently 5.91 seconds. So then it's Will Davison holding down third. How's that battle with Brock Feeney? It's about 2 seconds now between, there's Will on screen, OnlyFans Ferrari, and then Feeney just with the lights on, emerging there on the run to turn 5 there now. Let's get some more news while we're watching Will on screen. Why don't we talk with Renee, who did a great job in that first stint. She's the Charlie.
Absolutely right, Rusty. Started P8 and handed it over in P3. Although it's never a comfortable day when Brock Feeney's breathing down your neck. Renee, give us a talk through your first stint.
Well, I said after an unfortunate qualifying we were down, not out, and I really meant that. We were starting from 8th, but I was very positive that we had potential to come through with no succession penalty and a bit of speed and a bit of luck on our side, and I think that's obviously proven what's happened. I'm not too worried about Brock being behind us. Will's done really well at Adelaide and a few times where he's been racing in the pack, and he's proven that he can hold these guys off. So I think he just needs to do what he does best, and I think we can come home in third. Fingers crossed.
And did you change any tyres in the stop, do you know?
I have no idea. I hope so.
That's totally fine. The producer asked me to ask that one. I knew it was a punt. But let's just quickly talk about, of course, this is coming off of the win that we had at Queensland Raceway and then potentially back on a podium. It's not a fluke. This is actual form.
Yeah, look, we had an unlucky qualifying today with a bit of damage on the floor underneath, and that's vital to these cars. We get all of our downforce from underneath. So we didn't have a great car, but all things considered, I think we actually showed that the car was fast, even with low downforce. So we were positive. We were quietly optimistic, and I think we've got a good race car. And yeah, I think this is proving even with bad luck, we can come through and we can climb up the ranks, and it's the exact confident boost that we need after QR. All the best. Thank you so much.
We think they may have changed 4 tyres on that Ferrari in the stop. We'll get some clarification there. Charlie might just ask the team for us, but we think they did 4 tyres prior to Will Davison venturing out of the lane, and he's closing in there now on Jaden Ojeda. It's 1.1 seconds, in fact, between the Merc and the Ferrari. So, and Brock Feeney's now down to 1.7 seconds. This is going to get real interesting. 11 and a half minutes to go in GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS, live from Hidden Valley on Fox and KO and on our YouTube channel right around the world. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are watching this race 7 of the championship. A new venue, but more action. That was very clear from the outset of this one, and we're about to, I think, turn the tempo up, Lee Holdsworth, even more before this one's done.
Yeah, with just over 10 minutes, 11 minutes remaining, I do see a good race panning out here between 2nd, 3rd and 4th of Ojeda, Davison and Feeney. Feeney's reeling them in, but Davison's also reeling in Ojeda here by a couple of tenths a lap. Come the end of this race, Ojeda's going to be doing everything he can to hold off Will Davison. That gap slimming down every lap.
Juice is match fit too, isn't he? I mean, highly rated as a part of that Mercedes AMG program, obviously doing great things with Pete Chibris's squad there in supercars as well. Great talent, and he's not going to, even though the gap to Will Davison is down to less than a second now, the Juice, Jaden Ojeda, will not hand this over easily, and Feeney, as a consequence, is now less than a second to Will Davison. So while we're watching that, I'm also keeping just a little further back, a little eye on Garnett Patterson versus Josh Buchan too, because it's 1.8 seconds between those two in the fight for 5th place. It's a bit going on. Paul Stokel leading the trophy class in the KFC Audi. Back we go, there you go. So there's Patterson, who's now taken over from JP Drake in the Audi. And we'll just watch how the rest of this lap goes. Mind you, Josh Buchan, every weekend pretty much, I think, since we saw him at Queensland Raceway and are on the plane on Sunday night going to Spa, he and Cam Campbell, he's raced all sorts in between time and excel with Pete Chibris, who he's often working with some of the great cars, the classic cars in Pete's
collection, had the TCR car that he's had multiple championship wins in, out again recently too, and continuing this great program, both here in Australia with Zagami and Cam and what they're doing internationally. So he's sharp at the moment. Garnett to the point there as well. I mean, he has, I think pretty much since we were at Tailem Bend, he's been gone for nearly all of that time overseas racing as well. Like Brendan Leach doing some good things internationally. So back we go. Our trophy class leader sits at the moment, Paul Stokel, in an excellent 9th outright. Luke Youlden is the other contender in that class, but in between them is Valentino Astudi in an outright sense. Luke is 11th outright for the race. Our leader, Alex Peroni, was 7.2 safely in the pocket, but we're with 8.5 to go. Ojeda, Davison, Feeney. Here we go. Our director Hugh's gone back to it, and with good reason, because Feeney is right there. 0.4, got the fastest lap of the race. He is right on the tail of the OnlyFans Ferrari. Will's got a huge amount of experience. He's with the Grove squad this year from an endurance point of view. And this one, I mean, Feeney is so enormously talented, but this is where it gets interesting, Lee.
This will be interesting. The last lap, Will just lost around 3 to 4 tenths on Ojeda. Feeney kept his speed up and caught to the back of Davison now. So, as you mentioned, Rusty, this is going to come down to a bit of experience and talent. Be exciting to watch. Feeney right up on the back of the Ferrari here, trying to get a run onto the straight. He was showing the lights last time around. Probably flashed them down the straight just to let Will know that he's on the charge. I'm sure Will knows. Yep, there go the lights. Shows the nose down in turn 1. Will be well aware that it's not going to put him off. He's too experienced for that.
Team have confirmed it was 4 tyres that they did on the OnlyFans Ferrari. So in that pit stop. So back out of 5 they come. Wonder if Ojeda maybe cooled everything off just a little bit. Kept some in reserve for this final 5 minutes to safely ensure that he and Paul Lucitti can bring that car home in 2nd place today for Tagani. Ripping job by Mark Rosser and Alex Peroni. 7.6 seconds and can afford to. You guys don't cruise. I know you don't cruise, but is there an element of just maintain, don't take any risks, etc. when you got an advantage like that?
Yeah, it's not so much about dropping the pace off and cruising. It's more about just not sliding the tyre, not pushing over the limit of the tyre, so that you can maintain a consistent speed and bring it home without pushing the tyres too hard, and knowing that you can do that speed for the rest of the race. Whereas Will Davison, Brock Feeney, Ojeda, they're in a different boat here. They've all got to push really hard, get the most out of their tyres, probably overheating them. Brock will be sitting there trying to manage his tyres, waiting for Will to make a small mistake and lunge him when he can. Anytime possible, Brock will show the nose and try to stick it in right underneath Will any chance he gets. And I think the best position for him to do that, by the look of the strength of the car, is probably at the hairpin or turn 5. I can't see him doing it in turn 1. Will seems to be getting a great run off this final corner.
Sizing him up, learning where the best chance might be. Brock Feeney, day 1 of being at a racetrack and not in a race car. You going okay?
It's different. It's very different holding the microphone than the steering wheel, but look, it's enjoyable. Always enjoyable sitting next to you.
We've loved having you. We've loved having you as a part of it, mate. The best news is we get to enjoy a bit of a Darwin sunset and do it all again tomorrow as a part of GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS, our Shannons SpeedSeries, the latest stop on the tour, of course, here in Darwin. Here's Brock at 5. Will's got it covered, keeps it kind of mid-track through that, certainly that part of the corner now. Brock has a little look up in to the Hidden Valley section, gets almost to
that whole rear section of the Ferrari is this beautifully crafted thing. The rear wing, the rear assembly kind of comes off in one very expensive, but one very beautiful part. And he got almost to the tail of it just then, didn't he?
It's a beautiful looking car. But see, the problem with what's just happened there in the last lap, Brock showed the nose. Will's now identified where the speed of the Audi is, so he'll know to cover at turn 5 and 6. All comes with the experience.
4 minutes to go. All good news so far for Alex Peroni, Mark Rosser. In fact, they've been able to squeeze a few more tenths with Peroni at the wheel now. It's out to 8.1 seconds. Ojeda is 1.1 up the road. You just saw him scoot through your screen there a moment ago in the Mercedes AMG. He's got a little safety buffer, but this is going to be fascinating how this one plays out. Feeney versus Davison. Rihanna, if you're watching and you're a little nervous with Dash, we're riding with you, but it's going to be great viewing for motorsport fans on the run between here and the flag. Patterson versus Josh Buck, Josh has responded. It's back out to 2.3 seconds there, so the Zagami Ferrari that he shares with Cam Campbell, there you go, he might have that 5th spot safely tucked away in this race, so it would seem. Brendan Leach is 7th, having come in as the series leader, but we've documented some of the tough stuff for he and Sergio Perez so far in this race. He's actually, I think, put his head down and done a ripping job just to ensure that they bring as many points as possible for the title fight to the finish line of this one. Back to your race leader, 2.5 to go, or just over.
There's some lap traffic for Ojeda, Davison and Feeney to navigate through here for the final laps. Could play a big part. But Peroni here on screen doing comfortably with an 8-second lead, over 8 seconds. He's had a great run. This car has been on rails. The guy's doing a great job. Peroni very speedy.
It's actually been really good just generally for Team BRM. This will be a huge boost for that outfit, and they've done the job today collectively, along with Mark Rosser setting it up at the beginning too. So it's 8.7 seconds. A little bit of traffic, as Lee said, that time by. In fact, now it hasn't hurt Alex Peroni. It's 8.8 now. So they keep that going, and there's a couple of lap competitors now for Jaden Ojeda, Will Davison and Brock Feeney to get by. That bodywork on the right-hand side of the Feeney car, you can see that moving around a little bit, but not, hopefully not enough to be an issue with a handful of laps to go. Ryan Wood has just gone fastest in the first sector, down in 12th place. Steve Brooks talked about the impact generally there before, but Woody's just gone quickest in the first sector. It's not the fastest lap of the race, but he does a 1 minute 5.229, only 2 tenths off the best we've seen so far in this first race of the weekend. All as a part of the Liqui Moly GT Festival in Darwin, and that fastest lap in this one to Brock Feeney.
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it, to see Ryan Wood down there punching out lap times that would have been good enough to be right up there in the top 3, but it'll make for a great race tomorrow.
Absolutely. That's just how hard Feeney is trying. Out of the final corner, out of turn 14, get to stretch the legs. Ferrari versus the Audi, the iconic sound of the Audi. We had Romolo Liebschen with us at the Bathurst 12-hour and at Phillip Island for a round of our championship rig, GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. He's kind of seen as the godfather of Audi sport customer racing. And for many years, it's been such a strong contender in the sport. You know it, you've driven them, mate, haven't you?
They're amazing cars. They are, the Audi has been around a long time and still super competitive. Probably the best car I've driven, to be honest, in any racing category, with the downforce, the grip of these GT cars. They're such exciting cars to drive.
Okay, just had a message from Ryan Walkinshaw. He said, "You sure you don't want to reconsider that? Best car you've driven."
Well, 2021 Bathurst winner wasn't bad, I must admit.
I'm joking, mate. I'm winding you up. Okay. Should Rosser win, he'll lead the championship. How good. And Alex Peroni, his stablemate, is helping to ensure that will be the case.
Second time in 2 races, potentially, that someone's gone from 5th to the series lead. Can you believe it? What a season of GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. BRM have some wonderful engineering now in their garage, their shed. Marcus Koch, the ex-F3000 Renault World Series competitor, spotted Stephen Giles down in there too, who we often see across the ditch in New Zealand, work with McLaren over time. They've got some really good people in that squad, and this will be a good day for them. Out of the final corner, this should be, I think, last lap, checkered flag standing by. It's about to wave. Alex Peroni, Mark Rosser, Team BRM do it in race 1 of GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS here in the top end. Ojeda will hold on for second place. 1.4 seconds over Will Davison, who seals third. Feeney tried everything, but in the end was only 0.27 shy of Davison, but the top 3 spot to the OnlyFans Ferrari. Well done. Here's Josh Bucken and Cam Campbell home in 5th place. They had a great run in the first qualifying session. Sunday could be a happy hunting ground at Hidden Valley for Zagami. Brendan Leach gets home in 7th place. Ryan Wood is 12th. Unfortunately, Elliott Shute and Jackson Evans did not finish that one. They'll come out firing tomorrow in that Arise Racing Ferrari. So a recap of the results brought to you by Bosch Motorsport, confirming that Peroni and Rosser have taken it out for Team BRM. Jaden Ojeda, Paul Lucitti, nice performance there in second place. Feeney and Schumacher, what a fight back. The Kelso Electrical Team MPC Audi misses out on the top 3 in an outright sense, but that's a terrific comeback.
Yeah, it was a fantastic comeback by Brad and Brock. Ryan Wood finishing with the fastest time for the whole race. On the last couple of laps, he set a 105.025, which is 1/100th quicker than Brock Feeney's best time of a 105.035. So they'll be really in the race tomorrow.
Loving it. We're going to wrap this up with a podium to come. You'll hear from the drivers in our victory lane. Someone, well, we know from our class perspective, some people are going to get to enjoy, because they're great partners of ours, some Amadio champagne. The Amadio Group, they're one of our partners of the Shannons SpeedSeries. So there you go. Alex Peroni, Mark Rosser are your winners here on Saturday for Team BRM. Hot, hard work in Hidden Valley. And we again continue this story of real variety in the 2026 championship. Congratulations in the background too to both Paul Stokel and Matt Stupas. You can see the KFC Audi is there. Should make the point they are the trophy class winners in race 1 here at the Valley. You can see Chris Stubbs standing by there. We'll take you down in a moment and we'll soak up all of that atmosphere, and we'll wrap up our coverage looking ahead to a big day here tomorrow. We get to do it all again. That's the great news. Here's Chris.
Thank you. I'll jump on in here. Alex Peroni has still got the helmet on. I know that there is a smile underneath, and fair enough too, because for this man, it's been a challenging year. He had the injury, of course, at the start of the season, which meant he had to miss some races, but he's rejoined alongside Mark Rosser, and he's scored the win. Alex Peroni, congratulations, mate. That is awesome. Well done.
God, it's hotter than Hobart, eh? Holy shit. No, that was great. That was probably the most stressful stint of my life. So we had a terrible driver change. I didn't have my radio in, and it's on this big course, so I kept flapping around the cockpit everywhere, and then I was in traffic. I didn't know what was going on. So, but nah, big thanks to the team. So good to be back with them. As you said, challenging start to the year, so good to be back, and they gave us an amazing car. Mark is just driving like center at the moment, so shout out Mark. But yeah, great race. Well done, mate. Cheers.
Well done, mate. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Don't go too far, Jaden. We'll have a chat to you as well if we can, mate. Congratulations. Another podium performance for you. Well done.
Yeah, it's nice to get a podium on Saturday. Paul did an awesome job to avoid the carnage in that first part of the race, and then just drove a nice solid stint. So, yeah, it's cool. Good points for our championship, obviously, and
yeah, been a nice trophy to pick up for a tough weekend so far.
Yeah, Paul, your reflections on that. That's a good outcome, isn't it? That's an important haul of points.
Yeah, certainly. It was a bit of a mess in turn one, so we had to take advantage of that with our starting position. But it was just I found it a hard stint, but it was good, enjoyable, and we snagged the result.
That's it. If it's a bad day or a hard day and you get a second place, that's pretty good. Well done, boys. We'll see you on the podium. We'll move on down further. We'll come back and chat with our trophy class winners in just a moment. Stokel and Stupas. We'll swing through some of the crews that are here. We'll grab Will Davis, and we'll get Renee Gracie to come over as well. Congratulations, first of all, to you, Will. You had some pace there, you had some green rubber to work with. Gee, you chased them hard.
I did, came out behind Jaden, and just the hot air here is tricky. So it was nice, I could see Brock coming, but it was a bit of cat and mouse, just trying to keep the tyres under control. I had a few pushes at him, but I wanted to make sure I got this trophy, back-to-back weekends for us together on the podium, and again a cracking jog by Renee at the start, and also actually a cracking jog her qualifying, because I made her life very difficult by damaging the floor, and that's what she had to deal with. So I felt bad this morning, but I feel like we deserve this, and I felt like I drove well, and she did amazing as always.
Well, mate, it's so good to see you smiling, because that last interview we did was a tough one. You were so disappointed, I know, but mate, you've turned it around. Renee, well done. Another podium for you.
Yeah, we were saying we had a bad quali, but we were down, not out, and we were very optimistic. We think we had a good car in quali, all things considered, with the damage, so I think that kept us quietly optimistic. And yeah, we knew it was going to be a stretch and it was going to be hard, and we had to get a bit of luck on our side, and we had to execute perfectly, and I feel like we did that, and we're on the podium. So yeah, we're really happy.
Go and enjoy it. Well done, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So there you go. That's a way to turn around a day, isn't it? To go from that damage that Will had, they fought on, they boxed on, and they've scored themselves a podium, and they are one of the form combinations in the GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS, no doubt about that. Speaking of form combinations, gentlemen, trophy class winners, congratulations, mate.
Yeah, thank you. After yesterday, it was nice to be able to bring it home, because I was a bit upset myself, and I'm not really sure how it happened, but not used to damaging cars, so it was a bit of a shock. And the boys put it together last night, and they did an awesome job. Like, come back this morning, it looks like it's never even been touched. So a few pizzas and they were good to go.
Yeah, Paul Stokel and damaging cars. We all went, is that for real? Is that the right person? Have we got that right?
I got the blame. I said, no, I don't damage them either. Stay away from walls. But no, it's good. It's great. The boys worked pretty late last night, and obviously, to put a new front on the car, which is good. And today we got a good start. Jesus, well, lucky. I mean, I tell you what, I saw Renee go across the front of my car and went, oh no, because I saw sort of Audi backwards looking at us, and then suddenly this blue and white, Ferrari goes. I went, oh my God. So I was told on the radio, luckily, like literally split second before it, go infield. So I literally dived on the grass and saved us. Otherwise, it would have been another two cars. So. Yeah.
At the end of the day, here you are, the trophy class winners. Congratulations, Paul Stokel, Matt Stupas. Well done.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Cheers. Thanks.
Cheers.
Time to take a look at some highlights for you, courtesy of Wade Motorsport, of our first race of the weekend here. GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. Sergio Perez got the nose of the Mercedes AMG in front as they went down to the end of the main straight, and then all hell broke loose. The BRM entry would get through cleanly. Bit of contact going on behind. Then watch what happens to Brad Schumacher. That right rear on the curb. It goes for a wild ride. Little bit of contact with the wall. And what would happen then was a penalty, but also a fight back and a half from both Brad and ultimately Brock Feeney. Some damage would take the Elliott Chute Ferrari out of the game. There is an inquiry into what transpired there. Some damage, unfortunately, as well for Steve Brooks, who we heard from in that race. And it came to the attention of Motorsport Australia race control. Ultimately, though, this car of the Ferrari, as you can see there, the damage to the right front, we thought they might be able to get it back in the game. What impact? It would have a huge impact on the championship. Couldn't even get it turned properly to get it into the lane. So frustrating for he and for Jackson Evans. It's been brutal in their championship. It drops them to 8th and 9th in the point standings respectively. So back we go, and off went Shane Smolin. It's a fast part of the circuit there, Lee Holdsworth, and your perspective, as you said earlier in the coverage, you're on a different side of the car. It's tricky, isn't it?
It is tricky. Certainly tricky through turn 10 and 11. Sieves a lunge from Brad, just getting through. A little bit of damage on the right rear of that car. after that contact with the wall on the first lap. But a great fight back.
JP Drake did a nice job early on in that race, and helped Garnett Patterson, his co-driver. They ultimately finished 6th in that car. Here's the push, the chase from Schumacher. Now this clips the curb, upsets the car, makes contact more than once with the guy at Valmont Entry, but ultimately cause a little bit of damage to the Mercedes AMG, and it would give Brad a 5-second penalty, which was served out in addition to everything else in the compulsory pit stop. Brock Feeney, his co-driver, his great mate, would bring that car home in 4th place at the end of this race. Drake went off, but still managed to get back on, and ultimately they would bring that car home, as I said, in an excellent 6th place. Bit of activity in the pit lane, in very quickly because they were so strong. Team BRM, the handover to Alex Peroni. Out they came, Jaden Ojeda at the wheel of the Mercedes AMG. Will Davison driving the OnlyFans Ferrari, and Brock Feeney on an absolute mission in the MPC Audi in the background. Luke Yulden started to stitch together some good sector times in the Porsche in the background, but ultimately would finish 2nd in the trophy class. Up in front, Brock Feeney got close, watched where he thought he might be able to get by Will Davison, but in the end would finish in 4th. Will bringing it home with Renee Gracie in 3rd place. Ojeda and Lucchetti 2nd. Checkered flag waves, and that's because Peroni, together with Mark Rosser and Team BRM, take out race 1 here at Hidden Valley. Wow, we're standing by for a podium, and there is a couple of things to kind of, as Will Davison and Renee Gracie make their way to the podium, it's become a familiar sight for them in recent races at Queensland and so on. 5th winner of the year from 7 races. We've had some variety, as we said before. 1st win of the season for Rosser, 4th podium of the year for Rosser, and Mark's 5th GT World Challenge Australia career win. Now leads the championship, 1st time ever. Peroni's 5th career win. They're about to take the top step of the podium. Well done to Jaden and to Paul Lucchetti. Great to see the respect that Jaden showed there before. Nice and smiley. Can tell you too, Ryan Wood at the end of the race, a 1:05.0257, fastest lap of the race. That is the quickest tin top lap record here at Hidden Valley. Only a Formula Holden and an S5000 are quicker. That's a mighty lap at the end of that race from Woody.
Yeah, it's impressive to do that so late in the race with the quality of tyre he would have had on at the time. But that is super, super quick.
Great day for BRM, as we detailed there on the cool-down lap. Got some very good people in behind the scenes. Cool for Renee and Will, and it keeps, as Jaden said there before, it keeps them right in the mix. As we look at the podium result there for you for Pro-Am, worth noting, Mark Rosser is now on top of the points, 95 by 1 from Paul Lucchetti and Jaden Ojeda. And so it's 95-94 on 91 points. Brendan Leach and Sergio Perez, who were leading the series coming into this race, have dropped, but they're only 4 shy of the points lead. So it's super tight up in front. Sunday's going to be compulsory viewing. Brock Feeney and Brad Schumacher not out of the mix, incidentally, on 85 points. Then Jackson Evans, Elliott Shute on 72. Rightly focusing now on the trophy class podium today. It's for Team MPC, the KFC Audi, Matt Stupas and Paul Stokel. I saw Tom Severi there too, the engineer on that particular car, looking pretty pleased off in the background when they were doing the interviews there before. Good job by those guys there today. 2nd in class for Luke Yulden and Nathan Halstead. But they're our winners. Wow. What a day here at Hidden Valley. Unbelievable. We've got a huge day coming your way here tomorrow as far as our coverage is concerned. Just check your guides for Fox and KO. It's all coming your way. We'll update you on our Shannons SpeedSeries socials as well. We'll keep you up to date with all of the news there. It's going to be huge, and we cannot wait to bring it all to you. The visit to Darwin delivered on Saturday, and Sunday promises to be even better.
Well, what a day we have seen here at Hidden Valley Raceway on the outskirts of Darwin. There has been action aplenty. What's grabbed your attention?
I think the Mustang Cup Australia. Local hero Bryce Forward come out here, maiden voyage, and of course he got his pole, and then he also won as well. So that was really exciting. And then keeping it the Fox family, Jack Johnson, we saw him